So, hello and welcome along to a special edition of Isolation Interviews for Hospital Radio Reading and for my YouTube channel. And I'm super excited to be joined by an amazing guest. We've been trying to get her on for a while. She's finally here, the fantastic Farah Mak. How are you?
Hello, I'm fabulous because I'm in your neck of the woods. I'm in London. So I'm really excited and I'm so grateful to be here chatting with you, Matthew. It has been a long time coming. So finally we made it happen right when I happen to be in London.
Exactly. Now, before we talk about Neighbours and all that sort of stuff, tell us a bit about what brings you to London. I mean, is this your first time here in the UK or have you been before?
This is my third time. I was here around the same time last year. I'm here as the official MC for the Women Changing the World Awards, which is an amazing event held to celebrate women in all sorts of leadership, philanthropy, business, lots of wonderful things. And the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, will be there, and Dr. Tara Trent, and lots of incredible, I think about 150 incredible women who are there to be celebrated. So that's my purpose for being here. And then, of course, to see you. So
Of course.
that was the extra bonus.
Now, I mean, how did you sort of, how did you become involved in that? And I mean, obviously, such an amazing thing to be a part of, but how did you get involved with it?
That's a great question. Last year, I was actually a finalist in the awards for Thought Leader of the Year and Social Enterprise of the Year. And the company rang me, I think, about 2 weeks before the event was to be held in London and said, "Oh, Farah, we've been chatting to the Duchess about you, and we're wondering if you're available to MC the gala." And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And just had to like shift all these moving parts and go to my husband and say, "Can I go to London in 2 weeks?" So that's how that eventuated. So I went from being a finalist and very blessed to be a winner in two of the categories, and then ended up emceeing their gala, which was just positively dreamy. We had the event last year at the Fairmont in Windsor, and it was like being on the set of Bridgerton. There were like literally deers hopping around the grounds, and it was absolutely exquisite and a really beautiful evening.
And
And yeah, I was very blessed to be invited back to MC this year's event. So I'm doing that on Thursday. I'm still a little bit jet lagged. So I'm like, what day is it? What time is it? Where am I?
I mean, to say you must love being around all these very sort of motivational people, these icons and, people that you can look up to and that are doing good. That must be quite an enjoyable sort of thing to be a part of.
Oh, Matthew, it's absolutely magical. I call it being on the magic carpet ride, and you just feel the presence of all of these amazing people doing wonderful things for the world. And it's just so inspiring to be around people all achieving. I just quickly went down and saw the group and met a few new people who I hadn't met before. One woman who runs Montessori schools in Australia, and there's 55 continents represented this year at the Women Changing the World Awards. So people from all parts of the world doing all these incredible and inspiring things. And yeah, you just feel kind of like goosebumpy the whole time because it's such an inspiring event.
And how have you found meeting the Duchess? What's she been like?
She is one of the, oh, I should, the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, is one of my favorite humans. She's just so humble, generous, kind, funny, super fun, and really authentic with what she's passionate about. So we met at the event last year in Windsor, and then I was privileged to work with her again in Perth late last year for her book launches. And then, yeah, we'll come together again on Thursday night. And yeah, she's an incredible human being. She does so much work for women and children and is seriously super fun.
And I mean, we must just comment. Obviously, you got to fly in very, very luxury, in first class, I believe it was. What was that like?
Oh, Matthew, that was a really lucky little last minute thing. So I had actually been on set the day before, oh no, that day, and I'd done a 12-hour day, and then my husband and I went out for a quick date night because I was flying out the next day or the day after, and he said to me, "Oh, I've got enough points to upgrade you to first class." And I went, "Oh, I don't want to do that without you. That's such a special experience. I've been lucky to do it once before, but I thought I just want to experience that with you." And he went, "Farah, It's first class. I can give you that. And I went, all right, if someone has to do it, I'll do it. And so, yes, I was flying first class on Emirates and there was only one other person in the cabin. So the flight attendant said to me, you've basically got your own private jet. I'm just your one and only flight. I'm looking after you. You're my only guest. And it was, yeah, pretty luxurious, pretty special. They were serving Dom Perignon. I had serves of caviar coming at me, and then went to the back of the plane where they have a bar on the A380 on Emirates. And so hung out with the staff and a few people there. Then went back to my cabin, and it's like a proper little, you have the door closes and it's a little room. You've got a little desk area, and it was very special. And I feel very, very lucky to experience that. Although I must say, you still experience jet lag because your body still goes, what day is it? How is it? So
So how
I'm still
how
waking up at like 3 a.m. thinking it's time to go.
so how long are you in the UK for? How long are you able to stay for?
I'm officially working just until Thursday night, and then I also have some exciting meetings, which I don't know if I can say, but some exciting meetings with production companies here. And then I'm just venturing around for a bit. So I am planning to go to Scotland because I've never been there. I haven't booked it yet, but I want to go see the Loch Ness Monster. And a girlfriend just said to me, do you want to come to Cardiff with me? And I'm like, where is that? She said, it's in Wales. She said, I'm going to see a jazz band. I went, all right. So I'm going to Cardiff for one night. If you happen to be around and want to see a jazz band. And then I will make my way to Newcastle upon Tyne because my husband's a Geordie. So I will go there and see my family over there. And I head back to Australia on the 13th of April. So all up a couple of weeks. And I'm just going to kind of like explore, have a wonderful time, sprinkle some sparkles around London.
Now, that's one thing I noticed. Obviously, when I sort of announced that we were doing this interview, so many people just love your positivity. Have you always been quite a positive, cheery person? Is that something you've had to work on, or have you always just been that way?
I think I've always been that way, even through some of the toughest times in my life. I've always, well, the old saying, wearing rose-colored glasses. Mine are glitter-colored glasses. So despite challenges, I'll always just put on the glitter-colored glasses and imagine myself riding around on a unicorn. I'm one of those, always living in a kind of fairy tale. Of course, there's a very grounded, serious side to me, but positivity, joy, and inspiration is kind of the thing that keeps me sparkling no matter what, even, in tough times and in the good times. I think the sparkly Farah has always been there. It's like my little inner child has just never left. I'm just like a little kid in a 40-something-year-old body.
And you must love as well, because you get a lot of positivity through social media and a lot of people interact with you. You must love that. You must love the kind of, the fans and people getting in touch with you.
I do. Because it creates that ripple effect of kindness and sparkle and flow. So I think when someone experiences that and then the flow keeps going on, and it's really important to me to connect with fans as well. Like I don't even think of fans or followers as fans or followers. I just think of them as friends. So and if I can make a difference in their life by making them feel a bit sparkly and happier, and then they can pass that on to someone else, and that's a gift and a blessing to keep flowing through the world. So yeah, it's a real blessing and privilege.
Now we have to, of course, talk about Neighbours because we're big fans on this podcast of the show. For you, talk us through how you became part of Neighbours. I mean, tell us, how did that happen for you?
I actually auditioned for Neighbours. Neighbours was my childhood dream. Like ever since I was a little girl, I swear I was about 9 years old. I used to watch Neighbours, like die-hard fan, and then I would write little scripts and cast all my cousins and put on theatre shows for my family, like make them endure watching us perform Neighbours live in the living room. So I did that for years as a child, and it was always a dream to work on Neighbours. And then I started auditioning not until I was probably in my late 30s. I auditioned for about 5 years and kept getting down to like, the last two or whatever. And then eventually I got offered to play, I don't know if you know this, but I played the role of Lyra, which is like the Siri. So I was essentially a AI
Yeah.
in Sonia and Toadie's house. So it was my voice saying things and causing a bit of havoc. And then just before, actually, it was right when the first cancellation was announced. I remember I was playing golf and my agent kept texting and calling me. And he's like, I need to speak to you. I went, I'm just at golf. Is everything okay? And he said, it's about Neighbours. And I was thinking, oh, what's going on? Neighbours is finished. Anyway, he called me and he said, they've got a role for you. You don't have to audition because they obviously knew me. They'd known me over the years. But there's one condition. And I went, oh, what's that? And he said, you need to dye your hair brown. And I went, oh, I'll dye it green, whatever they want. I'm there. My hair will be brown tomorrow. Done. And so that's how Katrina Marshall was born. And yeah, she's been really fun to play because she started off quite feisty and had lots of little moments. And she's been a saboteur, and then she's had a moment with Paul, and she's, what else has she done? Lots of different things. So she's really fun, and there's a bit more sort of complexities coming out with Katrina now. She recently was running the Erinsborough Food Bank. So we saw that side of Katrina that's more about social justice and caring for the community. And I was really, really excited when I saw that script come through, and I thought, oh, they're weaving a little bit of Farah into Katrina. So yeah, I love Katrina. She's really interesting. And when I first started playing her and had to dye my hair brown, her depth and seriousness kind of weaved into me. So I was going through a bit of a tough time personally at the time. So I was able to bring a bit of Katrina into what I was going through, and she helped me harden up. So yeah, she's been really fun to play.
I mean, when you first got that, that phone call to say they wanted you on the show, you must have felt like, was it like winning the lottery? Was it just an amazing feeling? How was that?
It was actual happy dancing, like out loud. I remember like dancing in the car park of the golf club and going, who can I talk to? Who can I call? I had to call my husband. Yeah, it literally felt like winning the lottery because it was something that I had been dreaming about and manifesting. You've probably seen on my social media, I do vision boards and all that sort of stuff. So Neighbours had been on my vision board. And I mean, I had the lucky part of playing Lyra, but it wasn't quite the same. So when Katrina came along, yeah, it was just happy dancing out loud for a long time. I was pretty much just dancing in the streets.
It must have been very bittersweet though, knowing at that point, obviously, that the show was kind of coming off the air. I mean, did you ever think you would go back when the show eventually got brought back? Was that ever a sort of a thought in your head?
I honestly didn't. One, I just felt so lucky to have the opportunity to bring that dream to fruition. So whether it was one episode, 5 episodes, or 500 episodes, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I get this opportunity to bring this character to life and bring my own dream to fruition. And then when the show wrapped up, I thought, well, Katrina hasn't really made her mark. So I thought there's no chance they'll invite me to come back. And I just felt grateful for the time that I had there, because before I go on with that story, the cast and crew at Neighbours are like the most exquisite human beings you'll ever meet, right from the security guys at the front boom gate. Like as soon as you get in, they just make you feel like you're their long lost cousin, and they're so happy to see you, right through to Nurse Naomi and everyone. So the whole cast and crew. So that experience itself, it is just beautiful. Now I've lost my train of thought, so I will come back to that. Oh yes, Neighbours coming back. So I didn't think that I would have the opportunity to come back, just because Katrina had only had like some moments in time. And then I got the call saying, oh, Neighbours want you back. And I was like, oh, what? Again, happy dance out loud, like woo, doing the Elaine from Seinfeld, daggy happy dancing everywhere I went. And I was like, oh, what do I do about my hair? Because I'd gone back blonde again. And then my agent came back to me and said, oh, no, there's been a 2-year time lapse in the show, so Katrina can be blonde. I was like, cool, let's go. Katrina's blonde and she's back. So, oh, my gosh, I was so excited, Matthew. And then, all the different little storylines she has. And she's not there all the time, as you know. So I do wonder, what does she do in between? She doesn't seem to work very hard. Well, she works very hard when she's at Lassiter's. And then I don't know where she goes. She's just hiding out in the back room.
And I mean, sort of more recently, as I say, we got to see, she's now working, kind of doing voluntary work, which is fantastic. You must love that there's kind of a bit of you coming in, like you said, a bit of you coming into the character, and also getting to work with, the amazing cast. You had scenes with Stephen Dennis, and a lot of those lot. So what was that like, just to kind of change her up a bit, have her a little bit different to how we remember her from previously?
Oh, it was. I actually, when I read those scripts, I did think exactly what you just said. I felt like they were weaving a bit of Farah in. And I remember going into the wardrobe call before we were shooting, so the week before, and I said to Nick, the costume department manager, I said, "Oh, I'm so excited when I read these scripts. I feel like they're weaving a bit of Farah in it." And he went, "Wait till you see what she's wearing." And I went, "It's a pink." And yes, she was wearing a pink dress, and I was like, "Oh, yay!" And then obviously to work with Stephen Dennis and Rebecca and all of the incredible cast was just an absolute blessing. Stefan is just a exquisite human. He's just so kind and generous on set, and he actually wrote me I've got it somewhere here, a 2-page list of things to do in London and Scotland. He's the one that inspired me to go to Scotland, so I'm doing that for Paul Robinson. So yeah, it was really special, and I remember those days on set. I actually just thought I didn't even feel like I needed to act. I was just Farah for that. I mean, of course, I had to bring Katrina in, but I felt more a spring in my step because Katrina is a bit more kind of grounded and serious and a bit moody at times. So on those days where we were shooting those scenes, I was just like having fun as Farah. I bought the extra sparkle to it because she was doing what I love.
And obviously, the show is so popular over here still. And I mean, for yourself, when you first got involved, sort of came in as Katrina, did you know of the kind of the popularity over here in the UK? And how have you found the UK fans? What sort of things have they been saying to you?
I think the UK fans are my favorites. Sorry, Aussies. Obviously, I'm Australian, but the UK fans are like family. It is almost like that's part of the Neighbours family. So I feel like they're an extension of the cast and crew. They're so connected in, and they just make you feel so loved and valued, and they have the same passion as we do. So yeah, UK fans are definitely my favorites. I did know about the popularity here because my husband's a Geordie and my sister-in-law is a diehard fan. There was one time I was out for lunch with Rebecca and Thea McLeod, who's the casting director of Neighbours, and we had a bit of a boozy lunch out at a lovely restaurant and then ended up back at my house for nightcap. And my husband said, "Oh, can we please ring Caroline, my sister-in-law, and then surprise her with Rebecca because Caroline loves Neighbours." So I just FaceTime Caroline. I'm like, "Oh, hi, hey, go. I've got someone that wants to say hello to you." And then put back on the phone, and she was like, "What?" My sister-in-law was so excited because she was meeting her ultimate superhero.
Now, obviously, we know the show is coming to an end, which it's really, I think it, I don't know if it hurts more this time because obviously we've been through this once before. We're going through it again now. But I mean, for you, what was your thoughts on the show ending? I mean, fingers crossed. I know a lot of people are hoping that maybe in some way or some form it will come back again. But what were your thoughts when you heard the news that it was coming to an end again?
I was genuinely shocked to the core, like so deeply shocked because the show had been doing so well. It was rating well. It had been nominated for Emmys. And let me just say, Matthew, I'm actually also a diehard fan. So I watch it or I record it on my Foxtel box and then I'll binge it. So I was like, the storylines are so strong. I'm totally hooked. I'm totally addicted. There's no way Amazon are going to not continue with this. And then when I found out, I remember actually I got a phone call from a friend who I hadn't spoken to for a while because I wasn't working at the time. And she rang me all serious and went, "I just wanted to ring and say, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And she went, "Well, with Neighbours." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So it had obviously all been on social media and I wasn't in the studios at the time, so I wasn't part of that meeting. And I'm like, and then I jump on Google. I went, "No." And then I went into this kind of depression. And I went home and I was just like sat on the couch watching Neighbours going, "Oh." What's happening? Rang my agent and made a few phone calls. So I still feel really shocked, to be honest. I think it's a real surprise. But with my Farah sparkly glitter colored glasses, I keep saying, you know what? It's Neighbours. So there could be another knight in shining armor out there that's going to come along and rescue the show once more. And it is a great soapy twist that it just has another comeback. You
Hmm.
never know.
I think as well for us here in the UK, it was kind of a harder pill to swallow because we had just come off the back of obviously several of the cast were over here in the UK for the tour. It was an amazing show. Obviously, we had like Rebecca Omloglu, Tim Carno, Magella Davis, Lucinda Cowden. They were all fantastic.
All the
And
best.
then for that to then that news kind of came about just as the tour ended. So it
Mm,
was the worst timing, really. And I think everyone was kind of on a high, and then to suddenly that drop just
yeah.
it took everyone out. It sort of threw us for six.
Yeah, I can imagine because you would have been absolutely like just living your best lives, having the meet and greets and seeing all your favorite humans in real life and going, whoa, we're on the Neighbours roller coaster. This is amazing. And then it just comes to a stop. You're like, hang on, no, I want to get back on that roller coaster.
I mean,
Oh, yeah. I
that's
feel it. I feel it. I feel you. Same thing. Yeah. But I mean, we can hold on to hope.
we can hold on to hope, and also we know that the show's still on till December. There's a lot of high drama still to come. Do
Oh
you
my
think?
gosh.
Do you think we'll be seeing Katrina anytime soon again on screen? Would you? I mean, we would love her back on.
Yes. I don't know how much I can say. I think you will. I think you will see Katrina, and you will definitely see some great storylines unfolding. In fact, so good you'll be going, there is no way this show can end because this is captivating.
Now, you mentioned before that obviously you had gone for some other roles before. Are you able to sort of tell us which roles you had gone for previously, which characters
That
we
is
could
a
have
really
seen you
good
play?
question. I can't, it was a while ago, so I can't remember. There was a doctor role. Um, I can't remember all of them, but it was funny because what I do remember is some of the moments that I got the brief. Because at one stage I was on my honeymoon in the Maldives. So my audition tape was me walking along a beach or parasailing. I was literally parasailing at one stage, going, "Hi, I'm Farah Mak, and this is my audition tape." And then another brief I got, I was on holidays in Bali. So I did a self-tape from Bali. But yeah, all I remember there was a doctor. I can't remember what other roles there were, but there was lots, and they were all fabulous. But I think Katrina was, she was made for me, and I was made for her.
And I imagine, I mean, one of the questions I ask quite a lot, so you maybe know what I'm going to say, but I kind of feel I know the answer already, is about, would you love to meet Katrina? If you met her, would you be friends? Could you imagine getting on? I feel like the answer might be yes, but let's find out.
Yes, absolutely. Because she's so complex and interesting. I would love to meet Katrina. And here's a fun fact. The script producer told me that Katrina Marshall was named after a super fan. So there's someone out there who Katrina was named after called Katrina. So if you know a Katrina, then that's the real Katrina.
Get in
And I would
touch.
love to meet her. I'll be like, thank you for inspiring my character. And yeah, I think Katrina and I would be friends. She would inspire me to be a little bit more mysterious and maybe direct. And maybe I could inspire her to be not so harsh at times.
Now, obviously, we won't do any spoilers because, we don't like to ruin it for people. But if you had control of the show as it came to an end, where would you like to see Katrina as the show, sort of finishes up? What would you like to see her get up to?
Oh, I'd like to tell you what I already know, but I won't. Um, Oh, look, I would love to see her. She's been trying for a promotion at Lassiter's for years. So I think she's earned her stripes. She started off in housekeeping, and now her official title is, I think now she's the front office manager. So maybe she could work up the ranks a little bit and show a few more complexities to her. I'd like to expand on the Erinsborough Food Bank storyline, for example, that'd be pretty cool, and showing a little bit more of a social justice community storyline, but with, of course, some drama, maybe a little affair or something.
And I mean, is there anyone that you haven't really had the chance to work with that you'd love to sort of have some scenes with? Because I know there's, I mean, from memory, I can't remember. Have you done much with like Alan and Jackie, or who would you love to work with?
No. I see them around the corridors and in the green room and all that sort of jazz. But no, I haven't had the opportunity to meet them properly or work with them because all my scenes are at Lassiter's pretty much. So I would love to work with them. I've worked lately with one of my favorite new humans is Lakota, who plays Tay. He is, I actually rang Theo McLeod about him the other day to say, you have really cast a star. There's something really magical about him. He is as cheeky and fun in real life as he is on screen. But no, I would have loved to have worked with Dr. Carl and Susan. That, I mean, maybe it might happen. I might get the opportunity if they book into the suite or something at Lassiter's, or I could book them into the day spa.
Now, I just have to say it's been a pleasure talking to you. I mean, I could keep talking to you for hours, but I just want to say thank you so much for giving up your time, for joining us for this chat. It's been amazing. You're welcome back anytime.
Oh.
Thank you for joining me. And yeah, I say we can't wait to see what happens next.
Thank you. Oh, it's so lovely to see you face to face. I know we get to Insta chat here and there, but thank you. It was wonderful to see. And thanks for turning on the sunshine. Let's have a look at, there we go. I'm at the River Thames, or my screen's a bit blurred out at the moment, but how beautiful is the weather at the moment?
Oh,
And the London Eye is directly behind me. So it's been, yeah, really cool. And I'm very, very grateful that we finally got to chat, Matthew. Thanks for making time.